Welcome to Teach Tech Theater. It is Teach Tech Theater Thursday, and our topic today is, hey, this COVID thing is getting real. I'm Kirsten Giard Branch. I'm Kirsten Giard Branch.
And I'm Julie Benitez.
So we wanted to talk to you today because we both had some realizations in the last few days that this thing is not going away. As of this video, yesterday was the announcement from our local community colleges as well as the Cal State CSU system here in California that they're going to be going 100% virtual in the fall semester. Our assumption is that pretty much everybody else is going to be following suit very, very shortly. So, Julie, I'm going to throw it over to you because she has a wonderful Facebook page where she journals and talks about, and Instagram, where she talks about just kind of deep Julie thoughts, which are amazing and uplifting and very truthful. And why don't you share a little bit about kind of where you've been this week or what you've gone through?
Yeah, those deep Julie thoughts to keep myself sane, really. So when all of this, started in March, I was thinking, okay, great, I'm gonna do my show. It's gonna be later, and then maybe it'll be after school ends officially. Okay, well maybe it's gonna be in August. Okay, maybe it's gonna be a fall show. With the announcement a week or so ago from the National Association of Teachers of Singing that there really is no safe way to sing, and there probably won't be singing until there's a vaccine. If there's a vaccine, it really just started to sink in that no, this show isn't happening. I can't have kids singing and dancing and huffing that out. I have a very small space. It only seats 100 men. So, I know there are places that have much larger space so that even if you're giving everyone 6 feet, you can still get 200 people in there. That's not my space. And how impossible it is to keep the green room safe and backstage safe and all the things that keep touching. And I was like, oh, this really isn't going to happen, is it? Okay. Because I've just been hoping somewhere in the back. And, my set is about 85% up. Actually, it's probably 90% up, and it just needs to be painted. And I had, where many people were mourning much earlier in the process, this was my week of, and hitting some depression of like, this isn't going to be the way I thought. And it's not going to be the same. We go back in the fall, it's not going to be the same ever. And whether we are able to have a blended thing, but I don't even know if we're going to be able to have a blended classroom. This is where the new normal is, at least for a year, maybe 18 months. And it just really sunk in, and it was sad and depressing. And I didn't like it.
Yeah, today will be the day that I am going to have a Zoom meeting with my Puffs cast to officially let them know it's canceled. I, like you, on March 13th, when everything shut down for us, and that gave us two additional weeks off before spring break, I had contacted the cast and said, well, just memorize your lines, because when we get back after spring break, we'll just make a longer rehearsal period, and we'll just add on some more hours, but we've got this. And then last Friday was the opening night that didn't happen for me. And so that was the time too. I spent some time on the couch, just kind of YouTubing and Netflixing and being sad, especially because with the new program, I had just started to bond with the kids and we've all gone away, and distance learning is not what I had hoped it would be, but we're all in survival mode right now. And so I think that's the realization also that I had around the same time that you did, Julie, was just that we're going to be in a new normal that is not going to look anything like what we know.
And that it can't. I mean, the things that make theater so vital is the ability to be face-to-face with someone, or how do I teach someone how to do a movement thing without being right next to them, of like, bring in your pelvis, or put your shoulders down. And I might not be able to see that on a screen when they're this big.
Right. So with that, I think that you and I we have a very similar mindset, which is why it's sometimes it's a little scary that we're two different people in our own brains, but just kind of that idea of, okay, we're going to mourn this, but now what do we do? And so we've been in meetings actually all week, seems like, talking to fellow theater teachers, both in our districts and across our county, and for us, the County Office of Education, of, okay, so virtual learning, blended learning, what is this thing going to look like for theater? We don't have any answers yet, but we're at least talking about it. And
the reason we're talking about it is because we want to get out ahead of it.
Yes.
Because frequently the arts is one of the first things on the chopping block, and we need to make sure that our overwhelmed admin who doesn't know how to solve it, if we come in and we go, here's what we have already planned for you.
Right.
They'll just go, oh, great, fantastic, thank you, and not cut us.
Yep, it's exactly for us, our experience when we first started this distance learning thing, and we explained that in one of our other videos, but we had, here's our plan. It's aligned to the lesson plans that you had said you wanted to go to, which is Universal Design for Learning. And it's all aligned to the standards, and they just seemed genuinely shocked that we could figure that out, because I guess, theater people, what? We just sit around and, I don't know, juggle and put on makeup.
I wear a cape.
There you go. Or wear a cape. Toss. And I think that for us in San Diego, as soon as we started thinking about, okay, we need to make a plan, for me, that felt much more empowering, because then I felt like I had some control in a situation where I have no control. And so that's going to be the exciting part, I think, as we move beyond this into this reality that nobody could possibly imagine. And we're also very fortunate in that the local theater companies around town have started the conversation about how do we survive together. And I think it has an opportunity to bring a lot of the theater community together. And we'll put in the we'll put a link to the stories below in the video to the One Theater, One Story news articles that have come out from San Diego, because I think it's very important. And for me, one of the things that has been the most empowering is the video that was released by the artistic director of the Guthrie Theater. That was just beautiful, and a reminder that we are in an art form that has endured and that has adapted and that is strong, with strong people, and our art has survived because of the people that are doing the work. And so for me, that was like, okay, it's going to suck, but we've got to figure this out, and we're going to trip and fall down and get back up again. But the best part is that we are a part of a theater community that is going to help each other. And I think that that's the most important thing to understand, is that we're going to have to. We can't take the time anymore to hide in our rooms and not pay attention to what's going on in the real world, because we have to be out there in the forefront. We were told at one of our meetings, we were told by a local politician that it would be advisable for us to come forward with a plan of, here's how we think this might go for opening theater spaces or for doing theater. And if we come up with a plan, we're going to be listened to, because the people that are planning right now don't understand, don't know, it's not part of their brain. So we are working to make ourselves viable and at the forefront of the conversation, to save our programs, to save our kids, to save what we do in educational theater, because every state, I think, is going to end up in a budgeting crisis. We are right now in California because of all of this. And how do we make sure that our programs aren't going to be cut?
Because all of it is really overwhelming. And many of the people who are in charge, or the admin or legislators or whatever, they don't know our spaces as well as we do. And they don't know all the problems that we can see, because, one, that's what our jobs are. Right. One of the things that led to my slight depression was coming to the realization of, like, oh, okay, yeah, so we can clean down classrooms and stuff like that, but what about when we're building? Does every kid have their own screw gun? Am I disinfecting in between? What if a kid picks up a screw and then puts down that screw? Like, what am I doing with that? How are we moving flats? How are we doing platforms? How are we, all of the stuff that's a together kind of thing? And I know that my principal hasn't thought of any of that, because they don't know about that. So it's been very helpful for us for theater people to get together and go, like, how are we problem solving this? How are we going to make sure that our students are safe, our audiences are safe, and that we are safe? I don't have the answers to that, but we're looking at the answers.
And it really helps, I think, to be in a proactive mind. So we met as the San Diego Theater Educators Alliance and just started listing things. So how do we usually do what we do? Class warm-ups, class activities, scenes and monologues. What are the problems with that in this world? And how might we solve them? So have we come up with solutions? No. But are we starting to have a conversation about it? Absolutely. And the part of the other conversation that we're having is that if I sit down and I plan my entire online curriculum, I am now incredibly overwhelmed. And I am trying to plan things that are not necessarily my strength. I will forever, ever in my life suck at improv. So for me to sit down and plan an improv unit, it's just going to make me bitter and angry. But there are people within our district and people within the county that are fabulous with improv curriculum creation. So we're going to divide and conquer and have people in their areas of expertise working on creating units that we're going to share with everyone. So that, I think, is the important message for us, is that for me anyway, I have mourned what I have lost with the understanding that that will not be again. But it is going to be up to me to reach out to colleagues and make sure that we can link arms, divide and conquer. And I'm just one person in school, but there are over 200 theater teachers in San Diego County, and suddenly that's a voice.
And that's one of the things that's really important for us to remember, because usually we are singletons. It's just us doing all of the jobs. And if you can get yourself to where it's a larger group of you, not only to divide and conquer, but just to riff off of each other so you don't feel alone. So one of the things we're hoping for this is that you don't feel alone, because you're not alone. And other people are solving the same problems you're trying to solve. So let's do it together. That's one of the things that we're hoping, not only with these videos, but with our website. We want to help. We don't want you to feel alone, because you're not. And you don't have to solve it all alone, because there's a lot of other people there. And together we can divide and conquer. And together we can make, because we're all trying to do the same thing. We want our art to survive. And it will survive. It may be sad for a little while, but it will survive. And it'll change, but it will survive, because theater adapts.
So if you have any questions, please feel free to email us at teachtechtheater@gmail.com or check out our website at www.teachtechtheater.org. And we hope to hear from you. Just stay positive in this crazy, crazy time. And just remember, you are not alone. There's a community. Theater is a family. We are all going through this together. And so we can link arms and we can make this a viable reality for theater in the future.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming, and theater is magic. What? Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.